Hi, this is Satu Ahlman from Saga Performance, and I'm here with the CrossFit athlete Emma Thal from Karlstad. You used to be here in Stockholm, but now you have moved over there. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Really settling in Karlstad and everything is good. So
Great.
yeah,
Snowy and winter.
yeah, yeah, lots of snow.
I've seen that on Instagram. It's a lot of snow over there.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about health, recovery, your training here. I know that you and I have been working together and doing some testing for you with regards to, well, recovery and nutrition and all that. And I think it would be nice for others to also hear your thoughts about how you, as an elite athlete, take care of your health. What do you prioritize when it comes to nutrition, supporting your recovery? Also, how do you make sure that your sleep is optimal? And what kind of tips and tricks do you have for others? But let's start with your training. I know that you train a lot, but for others who don't know, how much do you train per week?
Yeah. Oh well, the volume right now is high.
Yeah.
Like every Sunday, I'm looking at the program and I'm like, oh, shit. Like this. And sometimes like I'm excited about it too,
Yeah.
but you feel a bit like you wonder how many people like do the same amount of volume and how many people do even more.
Right.
Uh,
Because you're
but
all aiming for the open season now, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and obviously it's a lot of athletes out there that also do a lot of volume and train really hard.
Yeah.
Uh, but right now I'm also in a situation where I can do that. I
Mm.
have the time to every hour during the day just focusing on training and recovery. So I'm not even sure how many hours per week, but it's probably around 5 to 6 hours a day.
Wow. So it's like 2 sessions or 3 sessions a day.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I would say it's around 3 sessions a day. Sometimes uh, it's two, but then they are a bit longer. So it's
Mm.
almost like you mash 2 sessions together
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of having a break in between.
Yeah.
And then it's 2 days a week where it's only one session that is
Mm-hmm.
more focusing on recovery. So
Okay.
either like movements flow or just some slow cardio just to
Yeah.
get some blood flow, or other prehab that we
Right.
need to work on.
That's a lot. And even for like a regular person who doesn't compete, of course, recovery and even those days have training. It sounds like, wow. So when do you rest and how do you actually manage to sleep and how much food do you need to eat? So, uh, how do you make sure that you recover? If we talk about one day, for instance, where you have like multiple sessions, in between those sessions, how do you make sure that you get your recovery in?
Uh, I think it's a mix to recover from a session. It's a mix of being really like careful with the warm up and cool down,
Mm.
as well, like to prepare the body uh, to perform, and then also like to cool, like to recover after, and spend time on that as well.
Mm.
Uh, and then it's also I try to like almost directly after the session get some kind of food in,
Yeah,
and then a while after that I'm trying to get a bigger meal in uh, to recover
yeah.
even more.
So it has a lot to do with food and nutrition and the right type and the timing of the nutrition, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say
Mm.
especially during the day, because
Yeah.
it's uh I'm not taking naps or sleeping during the day,
Mm.
even though sometimes I would like to, but so then during the day I would say it's mostly about the nutrition and warm
Yeah.
up and cool down properly.
Mm. Mm. So what have you learned let's say during the past years, or even during when we've been working together, about the, let's say, the importance of nutrition, or what are your, say, best tips when it comes to food? I know that you've been working with other specialists also, really fine tuning the amounts you eat and the amount of macronutrients you take in. What are the key learnings for you?
Good question. Yes, I've been working with some people that are very good at what they do, which is a massive help, obviously. But just for me, the most important thing with like regarding nutrition is obviously to get what I need to recover, but then not get without getting too much. And then it's like, it's not, obviously you want to keep your body weight what's optimal for the sport you do, so you don't want to get too much of that, but then you also don't want to get, in the perspective, you don't want to get too much of the stuff that aren't good for you either. So you want to get the right amount of the right food.
Yeah. And how do you know that then? How do you know what is right?
Well, I learned a lot working with you.
Oh, thank you.
And doing the testing there to know what's right for me. So I would say, like, obviously to get on paper what is right for you, testing is the best you can do. And then next to that, it's just common sense and listen to your body. Right. I would say. Yeah. So you kind of know like what, or at least ish, what is good food and what is like crap food. And then you also just listen to your body and if and how your body reacts to the food. Yeah.
And how do you go about with like supplementation and vitamins? What is your approach? I know we've been going through a lot of vitamins and that, but how do you see those?
Well, yeah, I learned most from you there too. So it's just also from the testing that we did, I can see what I need to take care of my body.
Yeah, because it is very individual. I think the main message would be to everyone that not just to follow some random, let's say, trend, like everyone needs to eat this vitamin. It's rather, look into the blood work you can do and your genetics to see what your body and the situation that you're at also, what do you need? Because as we've been talking about, when you put your body under a lot of stress, of course, you also deplete a lot of the nutrition and the vitamins that you have taken in. So then you might need to actually supplement more than another person would need, even with similar background.
Yeah, definitely.
So how do you optimize your sleep? If that's anyway main recovery, I would say, because it's a big part of your day that you typically sleep. And how many hours do you sleep, and how do you make sure that you get a good quality sleep?
I try to go to bed around 9:30 to 10, and then I sleep usually until 6:30 or 7. That's what I'm aiming for. It doesn't happen every night, but that is the goal, and that works well for me.
Yeah, that's good to have a plan.
Yeah, and for the quality of sleep, it's also with the nutrition, what I eat before I go to bed, and the supplementation, what supplements I take before I go to bed, and then it's also trying to keep the bedroom really cold and dark.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, maybe also I try to around at least 30 minutes before it's like sleep time to read. not to sit in front of the TV or be on my phone. I want to try to put the phone away early. And
do you find that it helps? Do you find a difference between your sleep quality when you've been doing that actively?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I do. More so the phone than the TV. I feel like the TV I could watch until I go to bed. But being on the phone, I think is like I don't know how to say it, but it stressed me more, or like the activity up here goes up way higher on the phone because it's so many impressions and everything, while watching something relaxed on the TV is at least for me easier to do before bed than being on the phone.
For sure. That makes totally sense. And also thinking about like how close the device is to your face actually, and how much of that bright light, the blue light, gets to your eyes and through your eyes to your system, and then making it harder for your body to produce melatonin. So I can think like if the TV is somewhere further away, the effect is really not that bad as with staring at the computer or the phone, even worse. And probably also with all these things like the pop-ups and things that then increase the maybe dopamine and all the other like exciting hormones that kick in when you get messages and there's something happening. So it's a little bit different from watching a movie where things just go with the flow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what are you mainly focused on now when it comes to preparing for the season and the Open? Of course, your training, but what are the keys to success for you? How do you keep it balanced? How do you keep your mindset in the right place and all that? What do you need to focus on most?
For me, it makes like a massive difference to have routines. Like I wake up the same time, I go to bed the same time. I like prepare my meals, I prepare everything, and I train at the same time, work at the same time. And just everything is just routines, and like you pack your bag the day before, and you just know what's going to happen every time.
So that gives the help for coping the day, I guess. And I think many people, they underestimate the power of routines, because I have clients who said like, I don't want to have routines because they're so strict and they just limit me. But then they start trying out like morning routines, evening routines, and then they realize like, oh wow, I'm actually releasing so much like unnecessary time to something that I really enjoy doing, and I can just put my full focus there because everything else is sort of automated already and prepared.
Yeah, exactly. It's
that's fantastic. Great. So final question, out of all this testing that you've been doing with, well, myself, Saga Performance, but also with others, how much have you gained? Or maybe that's a difficult question, but what are the key takeaways from tests? Like, why would someone do testing? Because you could also just go with the flow and have your programming and just eat and sleep, I guess.
I think it's the more testing you do, the more you know that you are like on the right track. And the more you know, like it's with training, like if you do everything you can on every single session, like when the competition comes, you know that you have done like everything in your power to do as well as you can do. And then you can be like satisfied with that feeling, and whatever happens in the competition, like that's partly up to you, and like obviously partly up to everyone else on the competition floor. But if you have done everything in your power before you get there, I think you can just be satisfied with that feeling. And it's the same thing with the testing. It's just, you know that you doing everything you can regarding to nutrition and sleep, etc. as well, if you tested it. If you don't test it, it is a bit more like you go with the flow. Maybe it's right for you, maybe it isn't. Like it's just a bit vague.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think it's just that it is that like you're more satisfied with that you know what you do basically.
Yeah. No questions are unanswered, so to speak. You can turn all the find all the fine-tuned parts for really optimized performance, I guess.
And then I also think like with that, it's also important to have some sort of like balance in your life as well. Like for example, like you can track everything you eat and stuff, so you know that, oh, I get exactly what I need. But you can also sometimes, maybe you have a day in the week where you're not doing it, or you track it for a certain amount of time, and then you know what you eat, and you don't have to like follow up every single step.
Exactly.
So you just, it's just like they go with the flow, and the other person, I don't know where to call it, but they meet somewhere in the middle. So like you know that you do everything you can, but you also like you
have this flexibility as well. Yeah, that's good. I agree, but I think that's smart. You don't need to overdo things either. It's going to make more harm than good at the end, I think.
It's the same a bit with the routines. I feel like I really like routines, and they're really good for me. It like takes down the stress level, but there's also lots of things in life that are like you can't plan, and then with those stuff, maybe you have to go with the flow a little bit, because otherwise maybe that is what stresses you.
Indeed. It can become super stressful if you try to steer every single part in your life. It's just impossible. Excellent. Thank you so much for this chat. I think we covered a lot of interesting things and inspiring things, also hoping for the listeners to get some inspiration. And I wish you very good luck for the training, and of course the Open and games to come and all that. So hoping to see you also in Stockholm soon again.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.